Hello, guys. Welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Governor of Benue State says Fulani invasion of the state is life-threatening, gives livestock guard these strict instructions. All right, before we go on with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. Let's look at the news in detail. Samuel Ortom, who is the governor of Benue State, has charged the state livestock guard to ensure that no herds of cattle seen openly grazing in any part of the state goes without being impounded. The governor gave the charge on Friday in Makurdi while inspecting impounded cows at the quarantine unit of the State Ministry of Agriculture. Said enforcement of the ranching law will continue to enable those who wish to do livestock business comply with its provision. He stated that there had been influx of armed Fulani herdsmen with large herds of cows into the state, despite the high level of awareness creation on the existence of the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law. The governor stated that several heads of cows has been impounded and quarantined in other local government area in the state, pointing out that trucks have been acquired by government to help livestock guards convey impounded livestock from long distances to quarantine units for safekeeping. He described the influx of the armed herdsmen as life-threatening, saying such would not be condoned by his administration. Governor Tom said over 400 herders have been arrested and are being prosecuted at various stages, pointing out that the herders destroyed farm produce and even make harvested crops feed for the cattle. He insisted that there was no intention to repeal the ranching law, stressing that ranching remains the global best practice of animals husbandry, and urged all Nigerians to key into it with a view to ensuring peace between herdsmen and farmers. State Commander Livestock Guard Mr. Linus Zaki said their men has arrested 3 herdsmen during the recent operation. Mr. Zaki added that 214 cattle have been impounded in Ukom local government, 69 in Logo, 219 in Goma, 96 in Makurdi, and 16 in Guel West local government area. And this development has been applauded by Nigerians, though most persons are of the opinion that the governor should think of a more reasonable way of handling this issue on, and also a more reasonable way of making Benue State not attractive again to the Fulani herdsmen. Don't forget that in less than two years ago, that's precisely I think 2017 to 18, there was a serious destruction caused by the Fulani herdsmen who went into different communities and killed a lot. And fairly recently, there had been an outcry by mostly Idoma-dominated local government that there had been invasion of Fulani herdsmen with more than 4,000 cows into their local government, and that so many persons have already taken to flight, and most of them have fled their homes because of the precedents about Fulani herdsmen invasion. The last time they invaded, it was not funny. So many lives, more than 100 lives were wasted, and children, young people, women were raped and battered, family men were killed, and all of that. So most of them do not want a repeat of such. But despite all what the state government have been doing, I keep wondering why the Fulani herder still finds, the Middle Belt State Benue to be most attractive to them. And despite the fact that there is a ranching law on ground, which I feel I had believed then that it will have a way of a kind of hampering their entry into, the the state, but then it seems not to be working out as expected. And most persons, most analysts are of the opinion that there is a bigger agenda beyond just grazing. There is a bigger agenda by the Fulani herders of taking over the Middle Belt state. Don't forget that during the period they invaded Delta State, one of the things they told Nigerians there was that, according to anonymous military reporter who said that, they said, according to him, he said that when they entered into the forest and ran into them, that what they were told was that, hey, Nigerians should forget about entering the bush, that the bush belongs to the Fulani herders. And fairly recently, Boko Boys also, we've heard about their activities as the Northerners also told Nigerians that they have seen another helicopter, and though it's an alleged information, but then we're waiting to see if it's true. Elder statesmen and some, leaders in the North said that they saw airplanes, that's helicopters, dropping weapons and food in most of their forests, which they believe is actually given to either the Fulani herdsmen or the Boko Boys. But all the same, we are hopeful that the step taken by the Benue governor will help in fighting this issue. Now, I have some suggestion to give, which I had also in one of our videos, I made mention of it, and that is that the Ministry of Agriculture of the state should think of taking up this ranching business. It's not a bad deal for the state to, pop up and at least commercialize that business, commercialize cow rearing business. It's not a bad deal. If you're talking about ranching, it's for you to show the people how to do it by starting it. Let them see that you have commercialized it and that you are making headway with it. Train some other interested, businessmen so that they can venture into it. Because I believe strongly that if the state begins to take up cow businesses and encourage other middle belt businessmen, those who are into livestock in Benue, you encourage them to go into that same business. And by the time it is noticed that cows or that ranching is everywhere, maybe, for example, they commercialize it to a point whereby beef is sold virtually in all markets, and, people do not even need to buy cows from the Fulani herdsmen. I think that will make them that will make them have no reason of coming into the Benue state, because right now they believe that people still need their cows, and there's no way they can be hindered. There's no way they can be stopped. After all, our businessmen are still calling us to come around. So apart from the livestock guards that they have put in place, he can also go forward by ensuring that there is a commercial, that ranching is carried out by the Ministry of Agriculture, and also see how he can also encourage other businessmen to come into it. Don't forget that before now he had talked about the issue of impounding cows, not just impounding cows, but it will also result to selling of those cows after a timeline. I'm so surprised that they are still, because one of the things I'm surprised, let me conclude my statement first. I'm surprised that he's still keeping, big heads of cattle, when your own provision was that after a period of time, those cattle will be sold off. If the bill has been passed into law by the State House of Assembly, why not stand by it? Because if personally, for example, you custody a cow for a period of 2 months, or give them 90 days, period of 90 days, and nobody comes out to claim those cows, sell them off. By the time you sell them off and ensure speedy prosecution of the Fulani herdsmen that were caught with those cows, people will know that you are serious. But when you begin to politicize the whole thing, and some you prosecute, some you don't prosecute, some you sell, some you don't sell, it makes no sense. Stand by the law of the land, according to what he said. Governor Tom said yesterday. He said nobody is above the law. So if nobody is above the law, why keeping the cows for too long so that they can be more space? Butcher the cows, sell it out. Nobody will do anything. You are the state governor. And if you are the state governor, you are in charge of the state, in charge of protection of life and property of your own people. If I keep a law and you don't abide by the law, I have the right to exercise my authority as the chief executive officer of the state. I think that is the point that we want to see activity in that area so that they know that you are serious. Don't keep allowing them to fill your space. As much as you are bringing them in, send notification, let them be almost on a daily basis an advert clearly telling the whole Benue people who care to listen that this is the law of ranching and that defaulters are given 90 days grace to come and claim their cows and pay so penalty. And if they decline claiming their cows after 90 days, we will personally sell out those cows as we had already, inscripted in our own law. When you do it, hey, everybody will sit up and then beef up your security. We've been talking about the issue of security because for about 400 of them to come into the state clearly shows that they have equipped themselves to see how they can wage war again, against your people. So make sure that the so-called livestock guards do not just go without arms. If they have to go in the company of police or soldiers, why not? But ensure that they, at the same time, they are protected. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section